Who that's for? I'll tell you why. Who are they? John, the 17th chapter, 12th verse, and while I was with them in the world, I kept them in your name. He's talking to the Father. This is Jesus talking to his Father. And he says, those whom you gave me, I kept. And none of them was lost, except the son of perdition, that the scripture might be saved. Who's he talking about? Nope. Judas Iscariot. How do you know that? Okay? And now, after the piece of bread, after he took the piece of bread and dipped in the bowl with Jesus in the dish, Satan entered him. Do you know why there's only two people that is called the son of perdition? Because those are the two people. I'm not talking about a devil entered him. I'm talking about Satan himself enters Judas. And that's why, well, I'm getting ahead of myself there. Where am I at? Okay. Satan enters Judas. Now watch this. 2 Thessalonians 2:3, it says, let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away first comes, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition. Who is he talking about? The Antichrist. Okay? How do we know this? Because in Revelation 13:1, it says, and the dragon stood on the sand of the shore, and then I saw a beast coming out of the sea, having 10 horns and 7 heads, and on his horns were 10 diadems, 10 crowns. And on his head were blasphemous names. Now let's break this down. Satan entered the Antichrist. The only two people out of the whole Bible that Satan ever enters personally inside them was Judas and the Antichrist, which is to come. These two men will never, nor can never, be forgiven because they made a place for Satan to betray Jesus. Both of them. And there's only that term, son of perdition, that's used twice in the Bible. You understand that? Okay.
I thought.
Go ahead. What?
I thought Jesus had forgiven Judas prior to Judas killing himself.
Absolutely not. Son of perdition. Read the Gospel of Matthew. He says, woe to him who does this thing. It'd be better if he had never been born. No, Judas never got forgiven. No, and he could not. Because when a person allows Satan, and there's only 2 recorded instances in the whole Bible, so that means it will never, ever, ever, ever happen. Now, can a person allow a demon? Anton LaVey, over the Satanist movement. He allowed a demon, but it wasn't Satan that entered him. Okay, watch this. Who is the Antichrist? I saw a beast coming out of the sea and having 10 horns and 7 heads, and on his horn were 10 diadems. Now, you know, the Bible talks about the sea. In the book of Revelation, we can interpret this because when it talks about sea, it's talking about people. It's talking about nations, okay? If you read it in the book of Revelation where it says that he came to the river and then they turned into people, okay? So he's coming out of the sea. He's coming out. This is what I believe. He's coming out of a populated area. He's coming out of a nation, okay? So who is the dragon? Well, the Bible tells us clearly. It says in Revelation 12:9, it says, so the great dragon that was cast, that serpent of old, and the devil, and Satan, who deceives the world. So we know who the dragon is, right? Okay. Who is the beast? The beast is the Antichrist coming up out of the water. Or out of the nation. Okay? Well, where's he going to come from? Babylon. Remember the Babylon map I showed you? There is a 10-nation. We know this. And like I said, this is all in the book of Daniel, and Teresa can tell you I studied this extensively.
I had to listen.
The mean old Persians and the
mean old Persians.
I'm over there talking about Medo-Persians, and Teresa goes, mean old Persians. You know? But I have to study this extensively. The revived Roman Empire, which consists of the regrouping of the European Union together under one currency. You know why our currencies are going to fall? Our currencies are going to fall because it has to come under one world order. If you have a dollar, that dollar says on it, in Latin says one world order. Do you realize that? One world order. It's already written on your dollar. It's already written on the penny. And you know that I that's on the back? A lot of people think that's God. No, it's the Antichrist. Where is he at? He's at the pyramids. He's at it, which represents Israel, which represents the temple, and that is the abomination that causes desolation. And there's going to be one world order. We're going to come under one currency. But guess what? We're not going to be here. That's good news. We're not going to be here. Now watch this. It includes diverse elements of political, sexual interests. Isn't that what's going on now? We're seeing this more and more and more and more and more and more and more. Okay? It will look like the very united front during these 3.5 years period. But see, what happens is that Satan enters the Antichrist, and then the Antichrist goes out and acts as a ruler, and then at that 3.5 year period, he's killed. He lays in the streets, and then he rises up, and then the mask comes off. And the game is over. It was supposed to be for 7 years that he made a deal with the devil. Well, you know, the devil's no good on his word, and he wasn't good with the Antichrist, because during that 3.5 year period is when he breaks that tie with the Antichrist, and then Russia will want to go in and invade Israel. And China puts a stop to it. And that's all I'll tell you about the book of Daniel there. Okay, now. So this European Union, you hear a lot about the European Union. The European Union, I didn't know this until recently, but the European Union has a police department. Do you know that? What are they going to need police for? The Union. All these countries, all these 10-nation confederacies. You know why? Because they're going to be the police of the police. They're going to get world police departments that are left behind after the rapture to round up people. Why? To get the mark of the beast. It's going to be a voluntary thing. But you know what? Once again, we're not here. We're at the marriage supper of the Lamb. Now watch this. Okay, when Benevolent came to power, it was 1944. And then at that time, 3 neighboring countries, the Midwest Europe, Belgium, Netherlands, and Luxembourg, became the 3 horns of the revised Roman Empire of the terrible fourth beast. Now, there are 3 nations of what is presently comprised of the European Union, is commonly referred to as the EU. France joined in 1951. France, West Germany, and Italy. And this made the number brought the number to 6. And then with a Treaty of Rome ratifying this amalgamation, which amalgamation means a bringing together, a melding. It's a metallurgy term. It means bringing together seamlessly, okay? So the European Union are going to have all these countries that are coming together. Now, In 1973, Great Britain, Ireland, and Denmark joined the Confederation of this union, bringing that to 9. Now, in January 1st, 1981, who joined? Greece. Greece joined the European Union, making it what? 10. And how many crowns are upon those heads? 10. 10 leaders, 10 heads, 10 leaders. Do you understand where this is going? It's going to be the European Union, somewhere in the European Union. Some people think it's going to be Rome. Some people think that because the Catholic Church has so much power right now that the Antichrist is going to come out of the Roman Catholic Church. And it very well could be. It very well could be. I'm still out on that one. I don't know. I tend to think that where it started is where it's going to end. Iraq, Iran is ancient Babylon. So my guess is in that region. But, you know, everybody has their theories. And the thing is that we don't know. You don't know. Now, why hasn't the Antichrist appeared now? Why haven't we seen him? You know, he's in the earth right now. I believe that. I believe he's a grown man in the earth. Do you know why? If the church knew where he was, they'd kill him. You know that? They'd try to get rid of him. Actually, the church has authority over the devil, and they would bind him up. Hello? He wouldn't be able to do anything. Right? So watch this. 2 Thessalonians 2, 6 through 7. It says, and you know what is restraining him, so that he may be revealed in his time. Who's restraining him? Who restrained him? Only he who now restrains him will do so until he is out of the way. Who's the he that he is referring to? Who's going to be out of the way before the Antichrist comes to power? The church. The church is holding back the Antichrist. People go, I don't understand why we've got churches. Well, you know what? This is one reason. This is the best reason right here is to keep that squirrel in his hole until we're out of here.
Don't call him a squirrel.
No, okay. No squirrel.
Maybe a raccoon, but not a squirrel.
Grandma.
Okay, now, when will the end of the age be? Sorry, I don't have time to go into it. Come back in 2 weeks, and we'll talk about the end of the age. Now, I went through a lot of stuff. I went through a lot of material. Anybody got any questions? No questions?
My,
Go ahead.
The only question I have is what you said about the Jews not believing that, or believing that Jesus was the Messiah but not the King. In my discussion with,
Well, they did.
in my discussion with a physician that I work for,
Right.
who is Jewish,
Okay.
when I asked him the primary difference between a Christian and a Jew, he basically told me that the Jews do not believe that Jesus was the Messiah.
Right, they don't.
That was,
And they don't now.
But you
because
said that he-
no.
that he-
I said during the tribulation period they will believe because
Okay,
of the abomination that causes desolation. When they go along with the Antichrist, they're going to say, "Oh yeah, this is God. This is our Messiah right here."
Okay.
Them fools over there went chasing after that Jesus, and here's our Messiah right here. And you know what? They're going to find out that it's not the Messiah when he puts an image, an idol, and tells them that they have to engage in idol worship. An Israelite can't.
right,
It's not they won't.
they can't, yeah.
They cannot.
Right,
And so because they can't,
okay.
that's when they find out that, and that's where the 144,000 sealed come in. It's 144,000 Jewish ministers that go out and evangelize the whole world, letting them know that over 2,000 years ago, Jesus died. and that was their Messiah. And that is the time of the Jews. Right now, it's what they call the time of the Gentiles. It's the church. Church age. We're under grace. We don't have to pay with our lives. We don't have to pay with our own blood. Why? Because we're going based on what Jesus did. Now, when the age of grace is over and we're raptured, and like I said, we're not going to be here, but those poor people are going to be here. And the only way that they can receive eternal life is to reject the mark and be martyred. And if you read it in the book of Revelation, it says these are the martyrs that came through the great tribulation. How they dipped their robes in blood? They received him as Lord. Okay?